Let's talk about Black feminism. It's remarkable to me that feminism is so despised. Black feminists are expected to spend our lives battling misinformation. We're supposed to be apologetic for something that has not only done enormous good for Black communities, but that is literally changing the world. Because the Black men, please see that we love you posture is really corny to me right now. Let's just run down the facts. Feminism belongs to Black women as much as it does any other group. I don't know why folks think that Black feminists are stupid. We recognize that our lives and our work differ significantly from white women. That's why we created something that speaks directly to our needs. Black women in the United States have been organizing around progressive gender politics for 200 years. Each generation picks up where the last left off. Within the Black community, Black feminists have been battling what sociologist LaRue Lewis calls Black male privilege. Black male privilege operates as a system of built-in and often overlooked systematic advantages that center the experience and the concerns of Black males while minimizing the power that Black males hold. So no, Black men don't have the power that white men have. But within Black communities, there is a pecking order, and Black men are at the top. Furthermore, Black men often collude with patriarchy in order to maintain their dominance. And I'm genuinely confused about why we have to spend so much time discussing something that is so apparent. All that arguing about stuff that is completely obvious diverts our attention away from the work that Black feminism does and has done. Instead of trying to corner Black feminists with false claims, y'all need to be thanking us. Because centering Black women's lives and work didn't create a selfish movement or system of belief. Black women theorizing and working from their experiences enabled them to create a framework of knowledge that is incredibly inclusive. We all owe the OG Black feminists so much for taking the time to work through the complexities of our relationship to empire. They taught us that it's not just race or class or gender. It's race, class, gender, ability, sexuality, and more all at the same time. And that means that we all have to be in the fight. In 1970, Black feminist activist Frances Beale wrote, "It becomes essential for those who understand the workings of capitalism and imperialism to realize that the exploitation of Black people and women works to everyone's disadvantage." It's Black feminists who most clearly articulated that all systems of oppression are linked. Bell Hooks named it white supremacist capitalist patriarchy. Patricia Hill Collins calls it the matrix of domination. And you've probably heard the term intersectionality. Kimberly Crenshaw coined it in 1989. It's meant to highlight how experiencing multiple oppressions can actually render you invisible within oppressive systems. And what's most frustrating is that within Black communities, Black women get scapegoated for these interlocking systems of oppression. For example, racism and economic exploitation are the reasons why Black men don't have access to the economic opportunities that might allow them to fulfill traditional roles of masculinity. So Black women have to step in as primary caretakers and financial providers and protectors and etc. And we do that and still get degraded. We're accused of intentionally perpetuating a matriarchy. And when Black feminists push back against that, folks get mad at us instead of the systems that are responsible. The struggle is that men in particular are just trying to gather the little crumbs of patriarchy that they can muster. And often when those who are against feminism and womanism talk about Black unity, they're talking about the restoration of some mythic Black masculinity narrowly defined. What they're aiming for is to get the remnants of white supremacist capitalist culture. Black feminists are looking to change the stakes. So what does this work even look like? It looks like the fact that there are no contemporary conversations about social justice that have not been influenced by the work of Black feminists. And the kicker is that even as Black feminism has grown and evolved, Black feminists haven't abandoned Black men en masse. While they're doing all of this extra work to make sure that every single member of the community gets treated as fully human, they're still participating in communities and social movements that devalue them. The people who argue that Black feminism is anti-Black men miss how the work of Black feminists is central to social movements that end up centering Black men anyway. Angela Davis, for example, is an iconic Black feminist and noted prison abolitionist. That movement has centered the over-incarceration of Black men. And let's talk about Black Lives Matter, a movement begun by 3 Black feminists. And I'd argue that it is the most inclusive movement for racial justice ever. We absolutely don't get to Black Lives Matter without a framework that recognizes the interactions of multiple systems of oppression. With that being said, the most visible actions around Black Lives Matter still center cisgender, heterosexual Black men. When we employ Black feminist theory, we see clearly how race and class collide to make men like Mike Brown, Alton Sterling, and Philando Castile particularly susceptible to fatal police interactions. These aren't people that the civil rights movement would have taken to the streets for half a century ago. When the New York Times referred to Mike Brown as no angel, the backlash was swift, because this is a movement about systemic injustice, not perceived personal failures. And it's global. Folks are saying Black Lives Matter around the world. And while all this is happening, Black women are still experiencing domestic violence and sexual assault at disproportionate rates. There's an ongoing battle to have that recognized. And whenever we try to talk about Black women's deaths in Black communities, we always end up talking about Black men's hurt feelings. But Black feminists are the enemy. And we haven't even gotten into the work that Black feminism does to deconstruct the paradigms of masculinity that keep Black men in straitjackets. Y'all can't cry, you can't hug, you can't be affectionate, you can't wear open-toed shoes, you can't eat ice cream or bananas. Don't y'all want to be free? Scholar Erinette White explained the trade-off that Black men make when embracing patriarchy. Their collusion inadvertently compounds Black men's suffering, because whatever patriarchal dividend they derive from the subordination of Black women, and women in general, is a trade-off for their own subordination to white men. And even as a woman who believes deeply in feminism, I realize that we're not perfect. We're fallible. It's okay to criticize us. But if you're going to criticize, come correct. Don't come in a way that seeks to maintain sexism or classism, homophobia or transphobia, because we're not responsible for sitting down with you and entertaining that stuff like it's valid. Anyways, the point is, Black feminists past and present deserve way more credit than we get, because despite the fact that we know that we're going to get hit with the most disgusting forms of misogynoir from people who have not engaged the scholarship or the activism, we keep showing up. You're welcome. Hi guys, it's Kim. Be sure to check out the books and the articles that I mentioned, like and share this video, and if you learned something, leave a tip. Links are below.